regular meeting. We'll do roll call.
Moralia.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Stupin.
Here.
Dazing.
Present.
Thompson.
Here.
Weimer.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll stand to the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll over the agenda.
I need to add a resolution to ordinance and resolution for transfer of funds.
Is there a number to go with it?
Yeah, 2019-11.01.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda with the addition.
Christina. Do we have a second?
Second.
Yeah. We have a motion from Christina, second Naima, to approve the agenda with the addition. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from the October 7th, 2019 regular meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the October 7th meeting minutes.
We have a second?
Second.
You have to speak up a little more.
Second.
We have a motion from Christina and second by Naima to approve the October 7th regular meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Citizen comments?
I have two. Actually, three. Today, I was asked to present. Oh, it's not gonna be in the paper. Okay, well, I was asked to present. When we go through town digging everything up, would we be able to consider doing something with natural gas?
It's over in Aurora.
Aurora is Basin Electric up north.
And
12 miles away.
How far
Basin,
is it over?
Basin Electric and then Aurora. Over the other side. About 12 miles away.
Basin is in our, they pay us and so on. So, the citizens had done their research and wanted to make sure that that would be brought up because that is, in their minds, a possibility. The second was brought up by Terry Dunsky. She won't be able to be here today. And she was wondering if there would be a possibility of the city helping with a sign that would show where everything is for the food pantry, because there are people that might need to know that don't need to, I apologize, that don't know. So some signage for that, could the city help with it and approve it if in fact they're not able to be able to help with that. The third thing was going back into what we had talked about, children being able to stay in town, whether it is working such as back in 2008, looking at the place down here, having that be something that the kids would be able to go to as a, video games and just doing whatever, possibly Park and Rec, or having Park and Rec do some things after school with kids, teenagers, and so on and so forth. So they wouldn't stay at home and be bored. That was one thing. And, well, I guess four. The other one was to be able to have some of the activities, such as why our president wasn't able to attend, have the activities be here and invite some of the people here so our folks can stay in town. And that would be Taekwondo, yoga, and a bunch of other things that would keep people in town, that would keep them safe, that would allow our moms to be and do more, because you can't,
Tax dollars going to businesses in town versus out
right,
of town.
because that would bring it back into town.
With the activities for the kids,
like after-school programs, the Boys and Girls Club does a pilot program. If you give them a facility, they man it. You just have to have a facility. And I think the community center would work if that's something you want to approach temporarily.
And then possibly talking about the building down there.
What happens when we have somebody that wants to book it, then we just tell them they can't come in and, I mean,
I think we'd have to talk to them about it and see if that's if there's a cancellation thing like that that could happen.
because when we book a wedding, obviously, it's not as common in the winter months as it is in the summer months. They get most of Friday too,
Yeah.
to do their setup and stuff.
Wasn't there something at one time for the, I know people from the Catholic Church said something about using St. Mary's for an after-school program.
Absolutely. And most of those things aren't usually Friday night either, are they? Is it
No,
mostly
it's after
activities
school.
after school, and usually,
Oh, activities wise, it depends on what, like,
It is.
yeah, it depends on what it is. And ours can be Monday through Sunday, honestly.
And an after-school program would help, and there would be, I'm a proponent of no latchkey kids, you know, if I were able to, and have them all come over to my house, but.
It's too bad that auditorium's not up to snuff, throw them in there.
Well, I thought about that, I looked at the building today, because,
Yeah.
you know, we've got a couple buildings over here that may work. Not necessarily the auditorium, but there are a couple buildings that may work. The auditorium, that was kicked around in regards to a, what do you call that, register being historical or whatever, because we have a mold and mildew problem in there. And if it's historical, then there's funds out there to be able to have that cleaned up. And with that, you've got a little bit of, the handicap accessible that would be able to, you go down in there, a lot of different things. But, people are wanting to have that happen. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is maybe month 6 where people have been thinking about this. Didn't this come up when the survey group had started? Some of the things that they wanted?
of after-school activities and other community education
Yep.
and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
This is what,
6 months, I think.
this is, yeah, that would be June, May, and June, yeah.
Yep.
Approximately.
People haven't forgotten about it, and, with enough people wanting it to be brought up, she has some, I know some, I'm sure Scott's shaking his head, so I know all of us have been approached with this conversation. I just don't want it to die for lack of us following up on it. We at least need to check whether it's the Boys and Girls Club or Vasky's building. We need to do something. I want to offer more before somebody else offers more, such as Tyler and kids going there. I rest my case.
I had a citizen's comment as well. They love their new street light, so thank you. And we love our new LED one. I'm guessing that's what you put on our corner.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that thing is bright, and I like it.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah.
They're a different color.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
No?
From inside our house, I mean, it really lights up outside.
I do get some complaints,
They're too bright.
that they're too bright, so.
Yeah.
I think we should talk to St. Mary's about getting in there to use their stuff.
Is there anybody
They got a
that's,
gym in the, there's a gym in the Baptist church too now, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Baptist Church. Mm-hmm.
is there anyone that wants to take point on that? Is there anyone that we think should
I don't have a connection to
take?
the Catholic church, but I can talk to Brandon at the Baptist church
Who has
about
a,
doing something, but I mean, we're gonna have to make sure it's up to code too, for Boys and Girls Club, I would guess.
okay, we've got Baptists, what about Catholics? Come on, let's represent.
I don't need to talk to
Well, the committee.
them. Yeah.
Oh, so you two have that handled, all right. Mayor and the vice president. Write that down.
It is, it is.
You're not.
Start down and
I think-
give our,
I think it's a good idea.
All right.
anything else for citizen comments?
I just heard a few comments with, some underage driving golf carts around with people standing on the back of it. It's happened a lot, so, I don't know.
That's a, call the sheriff's
Yeah,
department and
we'll
report
have to.
incidents, we don't enforce that.
Right, no, I understand, but,
Do them golf carts have they been up and got the,
I only have two,
two permits,
yeah.
which is,
One is for the El Can, and I can't remember who the other one was for. I'm looking for another one.
yeah.
What time of day was it?
Right after, I followed one right after school, and they had a little girl right in the middle, and boys hanging all over. I was like, oh man,
Yep.
there's my cell phone.
It was,
got
it was
the-
full.
It was on a Wednesday in early out.
Don't we have, the squads up here on early hour? As a matter of fact, I haven't seen one.
It depends on like the school, how they're gonna roll.
Mhm.
It depends on their rotation through the schools, they can't do everyone every Wednesday.
I miss our old guys up there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yes, and it's Friday.
Maybe you can give me a
We'll
car,
have
I'll go
to
up.
keep an eye on that, I mean, whoever, if somebody gets, if you tell me who's driving it, I'll go talk to them.
Mhm.
yeah, I'll make a phone call.
I mean, I just gotta know who it is.
I mean, especially if it's an early out, do their parents even know they're doing it?
Is it kids that are doing it, driving?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Junior high. And
I guess
then
it's-
and then a little sister.
I guess my question is where does your responsibility come versus the parent's responsibility, that they have access to the key?
I wanna drive down the road, and they're right in the middle of the road, driving, I mean,
Well,
same direction. which
We
is
know
fine,
who's
but-
responsible, but
Yeah.
we do have a city ordinance
If
to this effect, so,
So that the parents become responsible?
yeah,
Okay, yes,
If
that's,
it
that's
becomes
what
a
I mean.
nuisance, we'll just
Yep.
have to take it away. I mean,
Right.
it's just-
take them all away.
I mean, I don't wanna see that happen, but
No.
if it continues, then it will.
But isn't that what your sheriff's department's supposed to be taking care of? It's
Exactly.
against the law?
Cause it's no different
And you
than
can-
getting in a car and driving.
Yeah,
Right.
so isn't that when the sheriff's department comes in and then, I mean, because, I guess my question is not, you know, and I don't live in town, but if we have bad eggs here, and the ones who chew irresponsibly should not pay the penalty because this one is happening, and that's where the sheriff's department comes in.
And I think everybody needs to understand that we are not law enforcement, we don't go enforce that kind of thing. You simply have to call the non-emergency number and tell dispatch what's going on. If they have somebody in the area, they send someone right away. Obviously, if they're over in Arlington, they're not gonna get
No,
here in
they
time,
won't get
but
here right away.
they're really good about it. And if they're made aware of it, they keep their eyes open for that kind of thing.
But then they also could be told, if we know who's driving it,
Yep.
we can send them to that place.
And they can talk to them.
Yeah,
And is it the people that have spotted it? I know you can't get out of your car or drive around and do a little, you know, swerve and whatnot, that'd endanger everybody. But is there a way of people being able to talk to the children and let them know along with their parents and see who they are?
Who's they?
I don't know.
Anybody who's witnessed it?
Yeah,
I haven't seen
cause
it.
I don't see them.
See, I personally don't think that who has witnessed it should get involved.
Not
Because
this-
again, it's a
Well,
law,
she
and
would-
then the sheriff's department. I mean,
then she would have to get involved if the sheriff comes over. Possibly, she would have to get involved in telling him who it was. Possibly.
Isn't there a program where you can report something
Anonymously.
anonymously in Brookings County? I
Nice
mean, you
move.
can,
If it goes
Yeah.
to court, they're gonna ask you to sign it.
but that's different. You know, usually it just takes this and,
Like even with the dog, loose dog thing, you sign paperwork saying you witnessed it and then turn it in.
but only if it goes that far. And if it goes that far, then there's more.
They have you sign it immediately when you.
No, I mean, but it doesn't come brought up.
Yeah, no, you sign it, but I mean, as long as they don't fight it, then it doesn't get brought up, you're fine.
But there's no prohibition for, hey, you come here. What are you doing? What's your last name? Let me write that down. There's no problem with that, correct?
Not, I suppose not. All right, should we move on?
It's been, responsibility for that.
We're gonna go ahead and let Sherry go.
Oh, okay. Story hour is going smoothly. I've got about 8 kids and 5 adults attending. The library was open on Halloween and I had just under 100 in 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It was good, it was good. The 1,000 books before kindergarten program, I've got another little one that's just reached her goal of 1,000 books. I ordered a new vacuum today. I'm tired of fighting the other one and trying to round one up in a school, so I just broke down and did it. And I ordered a good one, not like a little, I ordered like, it's meant for like hotel rooms and meeting rooms and things like that, so it's not, because I think I have a lot more sand than the one I had was meant to do. I have a tree on display at the Festival of Trees, that's coming up shortly. The library will be closed on Thanksgiving Day, and then our next meeting is on the 13th of November at 5 p.m.
I'll remember.
5 p.m.
I'll remember.
5:05.
I left one out this morning.
Yep, yep,
Oh, right, that counts.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, Park and Rec?
I would like the Park and Rec to participate by having a tree for the festival out here. The ESL class, this isn't really Park and Rec, but the ESL class will be getting together a summary of the activities and submit for the $300 that you approved for them. But they will put together a short, what they have accomplished and where it's been going and so forth. Other than that, everything is taken care of in the
Did
storage.
that phone get picked up by chance?
I
It's
didn't
still
know.
sitting there. Or it was, yes.
I'll talk to him,
Okay.
I'll check it right now and talk to him. And other than everything got put into totes. The outdoor activity things are still in the back room, everything else is in the mechanical room in its own totes, for the next year's activities.
Yeah. All
And I
right.
have nothing else. Oh, I do need to thank you once again. The So That We Can Share activity, which is the open community sewing for the Sleep in Heavenly Peace, is getting wonderfully strong interest. And if you are interested in that program at all, one of the gal that's in charge of coordinating the delivery of the bunk beds will be here at 11:30 to speak that Saturday. And I think I mentioned that it is a 50-mile radius of the Brookings area. So if you know of anyone, they will have applications and tell you how to, because they have to apply for it. It's not just anybody who wants it. They need to show accountability for it. And she will be bringing all that information as well as other people who are involved in the organization itself. So come and visit with them because, yeah, it's a great organization. Okay, now I'm done.
Okay. All right.
I did look into a CPR class in Spanish. Nobody has the DVD in Spanish, so we gotta order it ourselves. I think it's like $86.
How much?
$86.
And they, after the first of the year, after the Christmas season, they are looking into getting another grant to do the rehearsal. English as Spanish as our second language. The group out Brookings they have connections for those grants, so,
So if you've got some that want CPR, we will get their deal ordered.
okay, I will go in there.
Frank Seifert volunteered to come over and help teach it. He speaks fluent
Spanish.
Spanish, and he said, sure, I'd love to.
Okay, I will leave here and go visit with them, okay,
All right.
all right, thank you.
Thanks. Jeff,
All right,
you wanna go ahead?
yeah. Got a set of plans, I started kind of going through stuff, got a lot of little details to work out. Need to, at some point I need to get through it a little bit farther, but if I come down and go through a lot of different items with Steve on just figuring out how we're gonna sort some of it out. One of the biggest things that's probably gonna come up that we're gonna have to address with the county is, routing traffic on Cornell when we're trying to dig the sewer main that's in Cornell. If they need to go, you know, what's the best detour for that truck traffic and those through there? That's gonna be a little bit more difficult. And I think there's quite a bit of trucks using it. Obviously, probably right now, it's probably extremely busy. So we're gonna probably have to look at what the best way to handle that and visit with the county and see how they wanna go about that. That's probably gonna be one of the challenges with those type of details.
Did detour down Main? Or no?
I don't know if we want to.
That's why I asked.
I don't think we want them down there.
No.
You know, it might be something we'll have to do a detour on Main, but a different truck route. For truck traffic going, you know, somewhere else, and I don't know.
That's a mile west or,
Right, whether we can just go around a mile on those roads, or if we have to go to something further back to get those, routes going around on truck-worthy roads. I don't know
Yeah, I
if we
was
wanna.
gonna say those can't send them on the gravels, cause they may not be ready by that time either.
Right.
They'll be soft.
yeah.
So yeah, there's, we'll have to visit with the county, department on that and set up a meeting, kind of go through those, details on that section of it. I did bring for you just for you to have, and if it's something that you want more of them. We had, the town flown for our survey, so I did print out or have, print out the actual area image of the city.
Here's my note.
So you guys can have that. I would've brought it the last time if I would've remembered it.
There's nothing over here, come on.
Turn it over.
Hey, well, that's changed that fast already,
Yeah.
so, yeah, so we did, and we flew the whole town, cause, hoping that we get to move through all the phases, and, we'll take that chance now as our company and be ready to use that into the next phases, so. That's, that part of it. Steve mentioned a little bit about, we're coming into winter, groundwater is still really high. You mentioned that things have kind of been gaining a little bit. Visited with Mitchell's, they're handled with all the groundwater. I mean, my sump pump is, in the house that I'm at, runs, ever since I moved in, runs year round. It slows down quite a bit in the winter time, but it does run year round. Mine is plumbed that I can go into the sewer system in the winter. I'm gonna try to leave it as long as I can. I actually visited with Public Works Director Mitchell to see how they're gonna handle that. Their system is starting to catch up from the rain events we have, and they think they'll be able to handle that as people start to switch over and pump it into the sewer rather onto the streets or into the grass. Now, your system is, to me, at fuller capacity than what they're probably dealing with. To me, you're gonna wanna promote people keeping it going into the lawn or into the ditches as much as possible. You have ordinances that say that's where it's supposed to go. Obviously, if you end up having ice problems in certain locations on the streets, I think you're gonna have to make a case-by-case basis on those. The good thing is, the water should constantly be moving, especially if they're pumping continuously. As long as the water keeps flowing, it shouldn't freeze up. Obviously, when we get to that negative degrees, you're gonna probably see some of that. Groundwater generally doesn't freeze, so you're not gonna have, there might be opportunity that some of that still is just gonna kind of continue to cycle. The other thing is the frost shouldn't go as deep if the groundwater is as high, because if you look at a lake, the lake generally doesn't get 5 to 6 feet deep. The ice is quite a bit shallower than what the frost would be in the ground, because a lot of water, it freezes, it ends up insulating some of that underneath. So I think, from that standpoint, it might help, as far as the water mains and some of those things go as we get into the winter months. Drain tiles, I assume they're flowing like crazy. Did you get you guys were talking about doing the culvert over here on the road, next to the railroad tracks, did that get installed, by chance?
We haven't done anything with that yet.
Okay, okay. And I know we talked about a couple other grade tiles, I don't know if that's gone any further, can you anything from us on it?
We're doing some more talking yet, but we haven't got nothing finalized.
Okay, yeah, I guess let me know if there's anything that we can do to help with that part of it. Other than that, I'm a little behind where I wanted to be, just because construction on all of our projects have gone longer than they should have, so I don't have as much staff in the office to work on it, but they're starting to trickle in, projects are starting to get froze up or completed, one of the two. So I'll be able to hit it with more staff here in the next month and really start to see some progress. Get some meetings with Steve to kind of go through some of the details that we've got addressed. Another one, just looking at the plans now, that something I want to think about. I mean, we're just doing asphalt streets in, or we're replacing them. We're going to try to do ditch work, whether it's culverts or valley gutters, to get positive flow, basically to where you guys have the drain tiles installed. We're trying to get movement in that direction. There is some areas where people have carriage walks or sidewalks that we're going out to the asphalt. Obviously, we're gonna probably take those out, and then there's a few places where there's sidewalks at the intersections that don't necessarily go to the asphalt now. If we wanna continue that those all the way up to the edge of the asphalt, or if we wanna do something different at those corners. And when I got more specifics on each individual one, we can look at it in a little more detail.
Is the grade on Cornell gonna change or lower at all?
As far as the center line of the street goes,
Yeah.
are those, no, not anything significant,
Okay.
so.
And what about, do you have a cost on, like what dewatering is gonna run?
What the dewatering part is gonna cost?
Yeah.
I haven't yet. I did talk to one of the local contractor that's working on a project for me in Mitchell. He said,
It's gonna be a problem.
right, you know, it's something we didn't anticipate a heavy cost into it or anything to begin with.
Mhm.
The advantage that we do have is, you know, the sand layer goes fairly deep. So if they do dewater it, they can actually get the water down and draw areas out. Problems that we had in Mitchell with it this year is we were trying to dig the sewer in that was about 2 feet into the clay, or 3 feet into the clay below the sand. So you couldn't draw that cone down far enough.
Yeah, our
below.
gravel goes pretty deep here, so.
Right, so I think it'll dewater a lot easier than some of the other projects I've had more recently come up. But the other thing you'll see here probably the next month or so is the soil company coming up to do some boring. So you'll probably get a locate. We'll shoot some holes in and see where the groundwater elevations are at. Get a kind of that soil profile so that we know what contractors can expect in some of the deeper areas. And then I'm gonna try to see if I can have just a few monitoring wells put in so that we can kind of keep track where that groundwater elevation is, just to give contractors that information when they're bidding. Everybody knows that the groundwater is high. Most contractors are gonna know that out in the sand and the groundwater is gonna be high. I feel the more information I can give them, the more confident they could be in their bid. And to me, anytime a contractor can be confident in knowing what he's bidding, his price is gonna be better than the person that's not confident in what he's gonna get into. Cause then he's gonna cover himself somehow with that. So,
When do you think we're going to bid?
probably January is my goal. So,
Is that gonna be enough time? Are we gonna run into problems where people are already bid the projects that they wanna do?
the way everyone has been this year, and actually talking to contractors right now, if you can get them to calm down enough to talk to you. You know what, it's hard to say. I'm a little bit nervous on where prices are gonna be in general on all projects, because there's a lot of work that didn't get done this year that was supposed to get done. There's a lot of emergency work out there that hasn't went before, and then you've just got your natural projects that would have come up this next year anyways. So a lot of that's gonna be a challenge, not only for Alton, but across the state. Hopefully we can pull in a little bit more contractors from Minnesota and be able to be bid competitive. It is a nice big project, so I mean that helps as opposed to some of the smaller ones. But yeah, that's gonna be a challenge.
Okay.
Anything else?
So, when we tear up the county road out here,
Yep.
how does that work? Do we put that pavement back in, or is that counties, or is that a shared cost, or is that?
I've gotta assume that that's all city costs, cause it's all happening because of the sewer line or because of the water. If we consider something water.
Where does it go? I mean,
Right.
you've done this in the past, how's it been handled?
Right, generally, if it's because of a municipal project, it's municipal costs. You know, so, I mean, same thing if we were happened going across the state highway or anything of that nature, we just did that in Mitchell. We dug a sewer across, Highway 37 in town, that was all local costs. I mean, the state wasn't doing a project there in conjunction with it. If you know the county is looking to do something there, then we can maybe get some of that involved with it, but, I don't know if there is or not, I don't know why it would be, it doesn't seem like it's in.
Just tell them it's terrible, it needs to be replaced.
Once we dig this pipe in, it's gonna be awful, you gotta do something with
You
that.
gotta come out and look at it in 6
Right,
months.
right, yeah. It's a muddy mess, you gotta do something.
They just chip sealed that road.
Did they? Okay, anything else?
No, we just have a lot of concerned citizens, and wanted to know when when that's gonna happen, so.
Yeah. We are gonna, I'm gonna look to split the bid or the project into, a couple different bid schedules. One being that of what we have to get over to and get done in front of the school, so we can have a separate completion date with that as opposed to some of the other work. The stuff in the county is probably gonna have to have a little bit tighter timeline on that, so we can turn it around faster and get it back open to traffic, just from when they start digging to when they're finished. And I'm thinking with this project and trying to get prices as best as we can out there, we're probably looking at a 2-year cycle, or at least have that option for the contractors, so that we don't eliminate, or try to make the prices as competitive as we can. Okay?
Okay.
All right, any other questions come up, or is there anything, let me know. Start getting things finalized and ready to go to bed. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Steve? We had the culvert cleaned out by Twin City Fan down there, the Twin City Fan on Beaver Street for water to run, west. We talked a little bit about maybe getting that board underneath the road and getting that going north, but that's as far as that's went. Really can't get, Scott Knudsen back here, the tile guy, to get any elevation until the crops and stuff get out. Taken out, then we can't run everything down. He's gotta have his 4-wheeler and stuff, so the corn is probably gonna get taken out, and then I'm gonna talk to, Steins probably tomorrow and see when they're gonna take that cover crop out in that area, and then we can see. I mean, it doesn't cost us nothing to have him come and look at it, so. The lagoon pump, that's been, gone through, and that's back in operation out there. We've had to go through and put wear rings and impellers in a lot of our gas pumps now. They're all starting to get wore out, not pumping like they should, so. We've been doing that. I did, when Tom got his beans out there along our main line, I did go out there and find every other manhole, and then we could jet back and forth on them to kind of clean that line out a little bit. I think it's gonna have to be done again. The jetter that we got can't stir it up very well, so we're probably gonna have to do it again. I'll probably leave them exposed until next spring when he wants to dig it up or whatever, so we'll just mark them and then we can get at them, so. The case tractor that we leased, I had to take that back the end of October, that got sold, so it was time to take it back anyway, so. We'll probably look at getting one of them again in the springtime for same type of deal. It's $1 a month for 6 months, so
When did you return that?
The end of October.
I'm sorry?
The end of October.
Okay, 'cause I need to let Christina.
Okay. And then Eric and I will be gone tomorrow, Wednesday, and half the day Thursday for training, which is in Brookings, so if I need to come back, I can, so. I gotta do it for contact hours, and he's gotta do it to use water distribution tests, so. That's all I got, and then just basically trying to keep the sewers flowing, so.
So is there sediment getting in those lines out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it when you pull it back through dirt and
Into our tile lines?
what's that?
Into the
No.
tile lines or the
Sewer
sewer
line going?
Yeah, sewer lines.
Going out.
Going across that field.
When I jetted them out, you can see the water. There's so much groundwater that is, all we're doing is running water, so. Coming around the pipes, you've seen in the manholes, it's just water gushing in everywhere, so.
Did that tile that's parallel on that take a little pressure off? I mean,
At least it's not squirting in all the way along the side,
So
so it's
it
just
took
coming
the-
up from the bottom,
it
yeah.
took a lot of pressure
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Are you still running any of the pumps after that, out of the lagoons after that one got
No.
replaced?
Two pumps, one down, one out by the church, which has always been there, and then the one on, who's that, like Shelby's old house. Fourth.
Beaver, ain't it?
Yeah,
Beaver.
and Beaver and.
Fourth and Beaver.
Fourth and Beaver,
Yeah. And
You
that-
took the one out by the practice field?
Yep. So,
So I see we have the jetter down here. Do you have that pricing and everything from when you gave it to us last time? So we can make a decision on that tonight? Or do you have that with you still?
I don't know, I didn't have it. I think there was two jetters on there, and then there was a bit that he recommended getting to, so.
I think you only had one copy of that sheet, didn't you?
I don't think so, probably, yeah.
Ended up with
I
it.
know. Everybody look.
I know, I don't remember.
How much was that?
48, wasn't it?
Yeah, 48 something, I think it did, was, the bit was like 1,200 something. Around $50.
Meeting, do you remember what meeting you had that information on? Is that
It
August?
was probably July, or
Yeah, it was.
So probably
somewhere,
July.
yeah.
So,
yeah, 'cause you had a picture, a colored picture of it, that's why I thought you only had one copy of it, just 'cause it was a colored,
Yeah.
it was a colored picture of each one. What, yeah, what would you figure the payback on that was for versus having?
Well,
those guys
last
come
time
in?
HydroClean was here, what did they charge, $700 to jet out a culvert? I mean,
Something
there's,
like that.
yeah, and then
I mean, how much time did it take them to do that versus you doing ours?
5 minutes,
Yeah.
it'd take me 5 days to do it with what we got.
I mean, if you just
But
did
if we have
ours,
the
and
right
you
one.
had the proper one,
Yeah.
it would pay for itself over time.
And then how often do you gotta do that main line from the church going?
That main line's never been done,
Right, but I mean, if you had it, though, you do it, what, twice a year, once a year?
at least once a year in the springtime.
Yeah, okay.
The cost of the unit that would just get us by was 21,669. The cost of the jetter that can handle an 8-inch line is 44,899.
It's on there was 12, you said?
What's that?
12 for a bit.
Yeah, it was just an add-on and they used.
I don't have that on here.
What's all of our new all 8-inch coming through town?
Yeah. Yeah. We do have 10-inch out. We, across the football practice field, well, it'll be from Dave Myers' corner and a little bit down there by Dave McMahon's and then going straight out is all 10-inch.
And that one will handle 10?
Oh, yeah.
We need to-
That's kind of what that bit does too, it spins, it's a spinner and it cuts. It's good for tree roots and all that kind of stuff, it goes through all that kind of stuff, that's kind of why I recommended that one, so.
Is there a minimum pipe size it can do?
No, what you can do is you can just turn down the pressure on them, so I mean, this one can go up to 4,000 PSI, but it can go 500 PSI too. I mean, you can regulate everything. The problem is it's getting enough pressure. And there is such a thing as too much pressure too, especially with the old clay tile lines you can.
Yeah.
you can go- Yeah. You gotta be careful.
Maintenance wise, I mean, is it a maintenance nightmare or is it? No.
No. Just pumping them over.
Longevity, what's it gonna last? I mean,
Probably
10
outlast
years,
me.
20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Everything is trying
Outlast
to be
yields.
serviced,
Right.
so. Yeah. I will retire someday.
I think at some point we need to seriously consider something if it's gonna help us get rid of the water. You know, and
It'll help maintain it.
and maintain our new system. If we're gonna invest, how many millions of dollars?
Right, definitely.
That's,
Especially if we're replacing what's closest to the line, we're still gonna have sediment and stuff
Right.
coming from.
You're always gonna have sediment
failure
because
stuff.
the sewer moves so slow that you always have to jet, always.
And I mean, especially because we're replacing what's closest to that, and then we still have old over here, we're gonna have
You're
way
always
more
gonna have
issues.
it.
and I think even in an entirely new system, I think you would have, right? Is that
Mhm.
kind of what you're?
Yeah, you're always gonna have it.
Yeah,
Is it?
It always settles.
yeah,
Look
Brookings
at
has,
Brookings, they got
yeah,
back
Brookings
trucks
jets every day,
So,
so, yeah, they're out there every day.
Is it something
What
you're
do
gonna
they got
use
for
this
dinner?
winter, or is it something?
They have a
we
big,
can- Yeah.
yeah,
They have their own truck.
Yeah, they have a truck, yeah, they have a big camel and everything.
So when do you need it? Yesterday?
yeah, that would've been nice. I used ours today again. I mean, it's just, you're constantly jetting.
So would we have the money for that, in that second penny?
Yeah. What do we have in the second penny fund, do you know?
Not off the top of my head. And, I can't,
You're in the same boat now, you're using the laptop to run the camera, you can't. run anything else.
yeah,
I have been in contact with the sales rep too, and we're 4 to 6 to 8 weeks out on it too. So I mean, it ain't gonna be here next week, so.
so.
We don't wanna wait another 4 weeks to order it
you
either.
know.
In retrospect of what we've spent as far as what our second penny funds, bring in about 90,000 a year in second penny funds. So 90,000, the first penny funds goes into general fund, and then the second 90,000 goes into second penny funds. Budgeted wise, we had just under 20,000 budgeted for expenses. We have also spent another, proposed expenses, no. You guys have a copy of it? Hold on a second. 120,000, is that about what?
132.
Yeah, well, that's the total, I have 112,000, which would be the tiling approximate, and then code enforcement to the land purchases. Those three totals would come out of second penny funds. So yeah, we're over this year as far as the 90,000, but most years we don't use that much. We usually bank another 70 to 80,000. So I guess if the fund was over 200,000 before, I can't give you the exact number right now. I think I'm gonna have to install it on my computer so I have access to mine.
So what do you have to do if you order it? What do we have to put down?
I don't think anything. I mean, it's just when they get it built, he's probably gonna want an agreement, but,
Right.
you know, purchase order.
Because if we order it now, probably won't get it till the first of the year, right?
Yeah, at least.
So then,
We'll have a new,
you have a new budget, I think we're fine.
I mean, this is a company that builds it. It's a custom built.
Right, right.
For us.
It's not sitting there for
No,
you.
no. So,
I move we get the thing.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
If we're putting that much money in this,
Well,
let's take care of it.
if there's, discussion to be made as far as, justification, I just think that with the investment of, what's our total cost in the sewer project, I mean, it's a pretty small,
This is
a pretty small drop.
Yeah.
And then he's got his peace of mind for, he can jet whenever he wants.
Yep, you
And
don't
then
have to
when we
wait
get
for
the
somebody
water
else
flowing,
to come do it.
Very true.
So,
See,
okay,
that 700 we could have been.
Yeah.
so we have a motion on the floor made by Naima, seconded by Scott, to purchase to go ahead and have him order the jetter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
You need anything else while we're?
Better give us a demo of how this thing works. I'm curious.
He'll show you.
Oh wait, I don't ever wanna come and
Yeah.
help you, I just wanna see it work.
If you see me with it, it ain't gonna be good.
Okay. Anything else, Steve? Bar manager, there's a report there for you. I talked to him earlier today, and he had to go, he had to meet with a lawyer tonight, with the family.
So did you get all those new lights and outlets?
Yeah. No, yeah, so there, I don't have the exact amount for what, Elton Electric did, because he breaks out the labor, but he doesn't break out the parts, so I kinda estimate what was, and I've been trying to contact him as far as what that is, but the lights that he replaced was like $204, I think is what he paid, it was like.
He bought that like at Lowe's, right?
Well, he ended up buying them on Amazon for cheaper.
Or whatever,
Yeah, and then the rest of it was cost for outlets or whatever they did back in
Oh, they had,
August or
oh,
September.
back in August?
I don't, the bill was from September.
Okay,
So I'm not-
How many outlets?
I don't know, that's the thing, I'm not sure exactly all that he did, like I said, the supplies are not broken out into which category that he did stuff at the barn, he did stuff back here at the ambulance, and he did,
Okay,
I think he did some stuff work here at the community center, all in one bill, but I don't,
gotcha. Okay, yeah, I was just seeing that, and I saw lights and outlets, and I was like, whoa.
and
Okay.
most of the stuff from Elton Electric is labor, there was like almost $500 in labor. So I'm not sure, like I said, I don't know what he did over there, I wasn't there.
Well, I think we should do some looking into this company, but knowing the company we currently have, it is extremely hard to get a hold of them and get them to come do stuff. And has like the park cameras been upgraded? Like you
Yes,
talked about?
he
They did.
finished doing all 5 of the outside the park cameras are the digital ones.
Yeah.
He came and replaced all 5 of the outside community center cameras that are analog. So they're all, I can view them all on my computer.
Wait, he replaced them with more analog?
No, they're all digital.
Oh my
The
God.
outside ones that were analog are upgraded to the digital ones, like the ones we have in the center. And then there's 2 outside here that were already digital from when the sheriff's helped pay for those. They have access to those 2 cameras. So I have access to them on my computer. Yes, he's sometimes a pain in the butt to get a hold of, but once these are done, I don't think unless there's a catastrophic event, we're not gonna have any issues.
Can we have Jason trained on how to use that equipment over there?
Yes, of course,
Okay,
yeah.
good. And he should be able to, with that system, also download an app into his phone. I
Yep,
believe,
yep, you
and
can.
even watch it remotely.
Oh,
That
nice.
way, I know it's not in the principle of being able to just sit at home and watch the employees working, but if something happens Dave calls and says, hey, this happened at this time, he can look from home when he has time versus having to come in to watch them.
Right,
It
yeah.
just makes it more convenient.
Right, whereas I'm not going to, as far as, you know, if something
Yeah.
happens here, I'm gonna come down and do it, I'm not gonna do it at my house.
Yeah, whereas he's more remote, I mean.
Right,
he
yes,
can
yes,
drive
he will
to-
have access to do that, and I believe it's a lot easier to download a recording. We won't, once he's taught how to do it, I think it's easier. Like I told the guys that were sitting here, I don't do it enough over there at how to remember how to do it on that analog system.
Mhm.
So I never remember, so I always have to call Matt in order to do it.
And I think if we tell Matt, hey, this is the deal, we have another company coming in, he might move faster to get it done.
Yeah, he was actually talking about coming in this week to work on it,
Good.
so. And he was here, I mean, it was broken up, but I think it was 8 hours he was here total to get mine done.
Good.
And that's 5 cameras, and he wants, well, there's 9 over there now, and he wants a few more, so
More,
maybe
3 more.
a couple days. I'll get on him and tell him we need to get it over there and get it done.
So what's it cost us to return checks?
It doesn't cost us anything.
So why is it, there's $400?
The reasoning why is because we have to account for that return check. The bank, they were returned to the bank, so that money isn't in our bank account anymore, so it has, until they get
Oh,
repaid,
It just took an out.
it's taken out of the account because it's not.
But in a month, we had $400.
It was one person that I think you wrote in 1 or 2 days, over a weekend, and
Was it obscene amounts on checks again?
it was $100 a piece.
$400.
There were 4 checks, $100
Well, I
a piece.
mean, how many in each one? See, and there's an ATM in there, we are not an ATM.
Yeah, I thought we were putting
We
a stop to
did.
the whole check
We
thing.
did.
It drives me nuts. We're not an ATM, there's an ATM in there. You want a bank that gives you your ATM fees back, you find one.
Never keep take checks, or no, they do take checks.
But
They
not.
don't take credit cards.
They don't take
I don't know.
They don't take credit cards.
Right, I agree that they shouldn't take checks for cash.
Mhm.
Buy something, okay, limit an overage of $20,
Yeah.
you know, like stores do.
It's people that are writing checks to go put it in a video lottery, and that's where you run into problems when there's an addiction and you don't have cash to put in that machine, you're gonna turn around and write a check even if you know it's bad, if there's an addiction.
Well, is that guy on the do not write check
Yeah, of
list
course
now?
he is now.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I saw that, I just,
Yes, I get notification from those checks, those straight to Brookings, Credit Bureau and Brookings, they handle them, and they're really, most of them we get paid back within a couple of months. I used to, when I first started here, I dealt with that, it was a pain in the butt to have to send out the letters and try to correspond with people, and I never got, a lot of times I didn't get people to pay. So, and then they collect the fee, the $40 fee, and we get our money back. I don't have to do anything.
Nice, alright.
So, as far as the security camera quote, to upgrade the system that we have through, ESE, his quote was for $2,991. Obviously, it will be a little more if we add on the 3 more cameras, and I know he quoted me, and I can't remember what it was for each of those cameras.
I thought that was already approved.
It was,
Right.
yeah,
Before we
it is
even-
approved,
Before we even got on,
yep.
I could be mistaken.
So if we're gonna add 3 cameras, do we have to approve anything for the extra money?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's
All right.
smart to do what they need to do there.
Finance officer then?
Hey, I, then emailed our auditor, he was supposed to come in sometime this year, I'm like, are we on the docket to be checked? And so he came in on, was it Friday? Can't remember, Friday or Thursday, or, no, it was Thursday, so the funeral was in here on Thursday. Came in, picked up paperwork, so I don't know how long it'll take him, usually a month or 2, and he'll be back to report. So that's done. Other than that, I'll be looking at, obviously, election stuff coming through and end of the year.
Fire department, anybody, we know any? You have anything? If not, handouts?
Not much, we're gonna be going up to Basin Electric the 13th, to do a yearly bill with them, fire will be there too.
Okay. Budget overview.
Obviously, we just have extra expenses that'll cover with supplement and transfer funds.
Okay. That's ordinance 367, supplement, budget supplement.
So this is our first reading for that, you each have a copy of it. The top 4 items are going to be covered by undesignated fund balances in the general fund. And then the second part being the second penny fund coverage is for a total of right now, a total of $132,819. Obviously, I'll look at expenses coming in for December before we have our second meeting, the December meeting, and then those amounts may change a little bit.
Is it 364 or 367?
Oh,
Yeah,
did I not
364 or
change that?
367.
I'm sorry, yeah, I
What is
just
it?
use a copy paste,
So what is it?
367. If you notice, that says 2018 supplement, and I didn't change that.
Did we get a hold of that guy for the code enforcement, or? did we wait on that?
I didn't know, I assumed that we would wait to sign the contract.
Well,
anymore.
okay, I didn't know if we had to get him on,
What is that for?
The code enforcement.
I didn't know if we
I'll-
need to schedule him, or.
Yeah, didn't we vote to do it?
Yeah, we voted.
We did, but I didn't know if I was supposed to send a check in at now, or wait till January to do it, since it would be January time.
Yeah.
I would budgeted for next year, so.
Right.
Yeah, they
Right,
probably
well,
call-
and you
call
say-
and ask.
Yeah, I think we should get him on the schedule, though.
That's right, it shouldn't be.
That way we don't get booted
Yeah.
back a ways,
Okay,
just to make sure, I mean,
I'm sure he's busy, so.
right.
So the one, this is the Thailand stuff, correct?
Yes, the 112,000 is the tiling. The major project was just under 100,000, and then we have that extra tiling from Beaver Street that we did, that I included in there as well.
All right, then ordinance 368.
so.
What?
Can I ask a question? So the
Yeah.
West Nile thing on here, didn't we have something come through where they had grant money available to help with the West Nile situation? We could have applied for? Did we hear about that?
And I
It
asked,
was
and
in,
it,
it was in one of our things, right?
I asked and it was, we don't need any, we're good. So-
No, we're supplementing. So I think we need to really be looking close at when the municipal league tells us, hey, there's extra money for this, we need to make sure we're looking into getting that extra money if it's possible.
Right, and I guess, I don't, we assumed we had enough, but because of the water issue and stuff. There was more.
Did you go over budget? You didn't go over on your spraying, did you?
I don't think so.
We bought a lot more than we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're supplementing $1,100 into that one. So knowing it's a wet year coming up, if that comes around again, I think we should
Yep.
definitely do it.
Obviously.
You can call and find out when it comes.
Usually comes out in May, I think, at March, April or May, I think is when it comes out.
Ordinance 368.
I sent you guys all a copy of it. The transient vendor information, we wanted to get that done. So I hope you guys looked at it. Got it in here. And I can't find it. Well, I don't really feel like reading it, but
Did you send in an email to?
Yes, I sent it everybody right after the meeting, I sent it to you guys, so that you would have it, so you could read through it, if you wanted to change anything, we're ready to go. How can it be missing? Just been looking for it. I don't know where I went. And it's missing. I know I brought it in here.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with it when we read it for the first time.
Yeah. What were we changing it here?
I don't know that you guys had any changes.
No.
The lawyer went through it and said at least, I mean, because you took it right out of Berkey. And I think there was a $10 fee or whatever.
We just need to adopt it.
Right, well, we have to have a first reading. This would be the first reading.
Yeah, and $10, no vendor's gonna have an issue with that,
Right.
we just have to, the only thing I had was when we have like vendor shows, does just one person have to apply for that then as the umbrella under them, or does every person have to pay that?
I thought we were exempting them
Yeah,
from that.
It was exempt.
I just didn't remember seeing it in here when I read it. Well, you're not in residential area.
Right in here if you want.
Okay.
Try to read it.
So you guys, hopefully I'll look at that. This is just the first reading to allow transient vendors in Elton in a more regulated.
Did it?
So, first reading, next reading will be December 2nd. Okay, we
Alright,
can move on.
alright. The transfer funds?
That is, we have, from the contingency fund, we have $6,650 left to transfer, and I'm transferring that to the park and rec to cover expenses for the, fence and the, whatever it's called.
Crow's nest.
Thank you.
Crow's nest.
I wanted to call it a bird cage, I mean, what that's called. So, just need a motion to transfer those funds.
Name?
Second.
John?
What was that amount again?
$6,650.
Okay, we have a motion from Naima, second by John, to transfer the $66.50 to the Park and Rec. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. City infrastructure projects?
Just, yep.
That's done.
We did that with Jeff.
Oh, okay. Mass mailing.
Okay, last month you guys talked about me sending out a mailing for, the emergency sign up, and you said there was talk about putting other stuff on it. Nobody said anything to me about what you wanted on it. It has to be a certain, you can only send out so much information, and if I do it on a flat sheet of paper, you can't put anything on the back. So if I have to translate it, you know, that's pretty much gonna take up everything. So, I don't know what to do. And what other information you want to send out. We did do, if those of you who have signed up for that, we did do a automated message that went out about the sewer and dumping water that's on, from your sump pump into the sewer system. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I gotta fill something out for that?
Yeah, you do. Or I can just put it on you.
I was gonna say, I thought us would just on that.
I didn't even, you know, I didn't think about it when I did the database, but yes, I can add all the council members to it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Cool.
think about it. Yeah, and I didn't fill it out, but then I was myself, so I just, you know, filled myself in.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay,
New business?
so we're not gonna mass and do anything, type of mailing?
I think we should. I was looking back to see if I could find what ours looked like when we did our mass mailing. I didn't see it.
But what other things do, I mean, obviously, we wanna touch on, you know, we we still need you to keep trying to somewhat restrict your water, you know, usage down the sewer, to keep the sewer from overflowing.
Right, Steve?
Right.
You get those pumps full bore or no?
No, just I know.
So the other thing you can do, we did a bifold. I couldn't remember which way it ended up going. I designed a trifold, and then the size of it wasn't right, but you can do a bifold, so you'd have, like on your sheet, you'd be able to put whatever you want on the inside, and then the back side would be your mailing, and then whatever else information you want. So you don't lose that quarter of a page on two sides.
Okay.
So you might be able to fit, translate, and then.
Something else.
Yeah, so the sewer system issues.
Right, so yeah, so sign up on the main page in English and in Spanish, review size, and then on the back side, notes saying, please keep your water sewer usage as low as possible.
Yeah.
And what-
And some pumps,
Some
And-
pumps must be pumped outside, not,
as long as you can, I mean, until they freeze, right?
right?
Well, until then.
You're not gonna pump any more water into a sewer system that's already full. You just can't do it. They're gonna have to figure out some other way to take care of their own water problems.
And I
It's
think-
not our problem to take care of their groundwater.
And I think hard piping, I think would, if you get a hard pipe out there.
You
and
hard
slope
pipe it and you drain it
there's a
so
way
it
to do
drains
it,
out.
So it won't freeze and,
Drain it into your grass,
yep.
so.
Well, that could be one little blip on there, being able to either have it on, well, not everybody goes up on the internet, but, have some options on there, a place where they would be able to look for that.
Contact your local plumber,
Yeah.
they'll help you.
Right.
And,
I've
We
seen
want
like
free
if you put hay on
advertising.
top of your sump pump line, or hay, of course.
Insulated.
Insulate, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing I think we've lost
Guys,
track
that's
of
hay.
is, flushables, non-flushables. I think that needs to be in there again.
It's gonna be some small font, we better send magnifying glasses.
Well, I mean, don't flush things.
Nothing in the toilet but your poop or your toilet paper.
Right.
End of story.
I got a good one for you. You know what we dug out of the pumps?
I don't
Was
know.
it 3 weeks ago? No, you'll like this.
Yeah.
A doorknob. I kept it. It's over there on the desk. It's
Ew,
a
Just
doorknob.
sanitize it first?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That,
How did that-
Yes.
How would that even fit down your
Well,
toilet?
and then he had a 2x4,
Chunks of
a
wood.
chunk of 2x4 this way,
He was standing there when we took the pump apart.
Oh my
A
gosh.
doorknob.
and that
It wouldn't even fit
2x4.
down your toilet, wouldn't it?
Well, if you have a drain in your basement that's not covered, you know,
But how
maybe it
that
doesn't.
2x4 get in?
It's just standing down there throwing stuff in?
But yeah, how do you get a 2x4 down there?
I mean, it wasn't that big, but it was that wide, square, that's square.
I'll see down the toilet.
Geez, I'm surprised that didn't clog the line, hit a line and clog it all together right there.
It did.
And I got clear out to that one by the
Yeah.
church.
Yeah, but it got
I
to
mean-
the pump though, huh?
It
Yeah.
Could've plugged
it
in
got
full
stuck
sewer,
right
though.
right before it would've went through the pump.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'll work on
That
that.
would've been a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
it's
you
our
can
fault.
sit here and tell these people how not to freeze their sump pump line, but most of them aren't smart enough to figure it out anyway.
What should we do today, Jimmy? Throw 2x4 down the pipe.
Yeah.
You can't hold somebody's hand all the time.
They need to be responsible for their own water.
That's right.
So,
Well,
not dumping it on us.
we,
so.
but we have to make sure that we do our due diligence, which is to inform, educate, and hope for the best. Because, I mean, there's people have gone through, and they're going through a lot. I'm surprised you're still smiling, you know, so I just wanna remind everybody that you gotta, sometimes we gotta spoon feed, and that's some of what we're getting paid for. Sometimes we forget that. So, some hints, would you say straw over the, and then,
Yeah, insulated.
and
Insulated, it's
insulated?
insulated somehow, just
And-
all works.
People are gonna be surprised too, if we get a foot of snow, that's gonna do it.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
And you
that's your best
and you can
insulation.
pile their snow on top of it.
Yeah. Go out there with the
Even if you
shovel
only
and
get a
shovel it
couple
on
inches,
top.
Shovel it on top.
Shovel it on top.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways of doing it, and even, and if you don't know, call
Ask.
someone who does.
I'd rather stick with.
Which would be a local plumber,
Right.
and we have local plumbers here at Elton Plumbing, that's right, Elton Plumbing.
Okay. So, ready to move? Community center rental fees?
Okay, I also just emailed you guys all of that information.
Yeah,
I, obviously, until this new phase this is passed, I'm charging what we normally have set up for, especially for weddings right now. I would like to get rid of 90% of these fees that are, local, private, public service, local, nonprofit, other, I'd like it Elton resident, non-resident, or just one fee, I don't care, this grid thing is stupid, because we don't charge half of that. Okay?
Make it simple.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how much it is for a day per hour or a 4-hour period during the week. This is what we're gonna charge on the weekend, whether it's 6 hours, because that's technically what they get, instead of saying, oh, it's a 4-hour period, but you get an hour before and after, so it's technically 6. Just say you get 6 hours, or you get half a day, so is that 6 hours or is that 8 hours? I don't really care, just, make it simple.
Yeah, and if you're not using half the stuff on there, just take it off. It makes no sense to have
Right.
doing it.
Exactly.
I agree.
So our main ones we use is the Elton resident fees, $100 for a 4-hour, 6-hour period, $175 for a full day. Or the wedding fees especially, keep those.
I think you keep the local citizens the way it is and bump it up for out of towners.
Well, I think we're
Because
gonna
they're
go.
coming here to use our facility because we're
Well, I
the
think we're
cheapest.
And they're not
increasing,
paying taxes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
we wanna bump the rental fee to $300, so it would be, non-resident would be $325 or $350 even. I would say that, but right now it's $200 and $225.
Did you happen, I don't think anybody got a counselor around here, were they? The comparisons anywhere?
Anything local, like smaller communities, White and Aurora don't really have a huge fee schedule for their stuff.
But they're not.
And they're not even comparable.
No, we have a.
Facility.
No, you're
Kitchen.
right, Aurora's not. White has
Well, it's got the
It's smaller.
community
It's
center.
smaller, but it is
Not a whole-
comparable to it.
Comparable. I don't think it's probably quite as nice.
And they probably don't get as many weddings because they can't hold as many people. Right? It's been a while since I've been there.
Elton is a venue, which is different, it's a whole nother thing. This is a venue, you have bathrooms and,
Kitchen.
yeah, so, I don't have a problem with it at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about, right now during the week, we charge $20 an hour or $60 for a 4-hour period. Is that reasonable still?
I think during the week that's reasonable.
What did we set a minimum of 50 though? You guys did mention that.
Yeah.
So, cause right now, like if Twin
How much
Cities,
is the 6-hour deal?
on a weekend, it's 100.
Just have one rate.
That's
If
it.
you want it.
Well, weekends more prime, so that's why I think they chose to do
But who's
100.
gonna use it during the week most time? Businesses.
Right.
I mean,
Twin City Maynard's.
If we go to a meeting and we meet Storm Lake and we go to a hotel, it costs us frickin' probably $400 or $500
Yes.
to be.
It's
It's,
gonna be-
maybe
it's
a
gonna
Twin
be-
City's gonna care about $100. If they do, go have it at their own place.
But if somebody in the community wants to use it for a business meeting, that's not a business, I'm just trying to be,
Yeah.
What's $100?
$100 still shouldn't be that bad.
so, get rid of the hourly fee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said you want it simple.
Clean it up, make it easy.
Half a day, 6 hours, 6-hour time period, $100.
Yeah, sounds fine.
That's less than $20 an hour. Make it simple.
And still, yeah, sounds good.
what issues then, so Twin Cities fan says they want it, and they schedule a day, you know, a half day. And then somebody else comes in and says they need it, and Twin City fans are, well, we only need it for an hour, so technically we're just using it for this time. Are we gonna run into problems if somebody else comes in and wants it? Are we gonna lose that other person then, cause we can't overlap it? So what if Twin City?
So that's
fans-
why I was
Well, if you're only
thinking, I mean, I
charging
know.
$20 an hour, you're losing $20. It's $100 if you wanna use it, $100. See what it would cost you in Brookings to get just a room in a motel. I mean,
Okay, we have, the Boy Scouts use it once a month, or once a week, Tuesdays.
Is it once a week?
Once.
Once a month,
Once
yeah.
a month, and
Every
I,
2 weeks.
and it was, they came and talked to us, and we agreed to allow that and charge them $20 a time. So it was $200.
Yeah, I thought we were, I thought we weren't charging them.
Well, this isn't local
That's,
nonprofits, we're not, this is the round table.
Round table for the
So it's
Boy
like
Scouts.
the leaders.
The leaders that come here and meet.
So they're okay
meet us.
paying, and that they agreed to pay $20 a time, because they're here from 7 to 9, I think, on a Tuesday night. So it's not like we use it very often at that kind of stuff, so that's still okay.
Now, the only thing there is we have to let, if there's something else scheduled for that night.
Usually, no, I don't schedule anything.
All right,
The only thing
but it
that's
doesn't
scheduled
happen.
over that is an election. They get
Okay.
bumped on election, and I've told them that. and-
Okay.
And
I knew there was an issue.
that's the only thing that they get bumped for, otherwise they are scheduled for that night and nothing, I don't schedule anything over the top of them.
And that's that second Tuesday of the month thing.
Yes,
And because in November, that's when that election
yes,
is.
and that'll be next year we'll have that
Yeah.
issue. So I will remind them, again, that they will not use that.
So if another nonprofit comes in that's not local and wants to do the same thing, we'd give them the same type of rate, right?
I think.
That'd be-
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Especially, I mean, it's a nonprofit in the sense of helping kids, why not?
Okay, so we had talked last month that, $50 minimum for the day. I've already passed that on to, like, Twin City Fan, so we're going to change that. I said it's, at least $50 a day, or for that, minimum.
Oh, now we just made it 100, right?
no. Gotta go and talk to them.
100's fine, I really do.
Gotta go out and talk to them anyway about the building permit.
Well, and it wasn't a set in stone, I said, this is what they're talking about.
Cause they're not a nonprofit.
Right.
And, I mean, we just, all the places that use us on a regular basis like that, as a business, we just send them, here's our updated fee schedule.
Okay, all right.
What about what is that called?
Can you put on the-
What is the group that comes in that is part of the, what am I trying to call them? They meet in here every couple months, I
Oh,
think.
the class?
No, it's the rural, whatever, township
Township.
board.
Townships
Yeah,
get
township.
it for free, we don't charge them.
Okay, I just wanted to.
They don't
Or
charge.
actually, they're part of the community.
Yeah.
I would think, yeah.
So $100 per half a day, which is what, 8 hours, 6 hours?
6 hours.
6 hours.
What is the class that always uses it?
The class of 65 pays $20, but they get bumped if there's something rented, because it's a Saturday, and he
And if
knows.
anybody else's class were to come in and ask, it'd be the same thing,
Right.
right?
Yep. Yep, he calls me usually a couple of the week, month, like he called today, to make sure we're still good. I try to, when we have something booked months in advance, I let him know. Like next August will be a busy wedding month, I think I have every weekend but one booked for a wedding.
Nice.
You should get them all in the summer, but.
It's not my job.
I've actually seen people talking about it on Facebook and stuff.
Oh yeah, we get recommended.
And that's a big, big difference, because when the council before agreed to let the money come in for the market, and people came and saw it, and they were just amazed, because it is, again, it's a venue.
A lot of people like it because they can bring in their own caterer, where other
Right.
places you have to use their caterer.
Yeah.
So that's something that is a plus.
It's,
Our biggest downfall is the liquor issue, but the fire department has been more open to, serving as much as they can.
about you guys here, sir?
They don't have enough people.
That's a lot of work.
Oh,
Why don't you help them out?
I'm trying to figure out who's gonna serve for this district meeting.
300.
That's not on the agenda, it's,
No.
So are we leaving the regular rental fee for a whole day is at $175 for Elton residents? So
If
not-
that's what it was, leave
Yeah.
it there.
And then it's
That ain't so
200
bad.
for non-residents. Okay. All righty. Let me get rid of all this other stuff.
All right. Number 3, the employee health insurance.
Okay, it's renewal time for our 3 employees, well, I'm assuming eventually 4, because once Jason's off probation, he'll get insurance too, I assume. Our rates went up 2.11%, so we went from.
I was gonna say, usually it's like 20%.
Right,
Yeah.
because we moved to the, what is it called? Anyways, we're in a different type of group. We moved to that a couple years ago. We don't have a deductible, we have a base amount that we have to pay. There's a tier of expenses for us, like obviously preventative is free, and then each one goes up, and like a hospital stay, I think it's $3,000. Our cost has increased a little bit more than I wish it would have. Like we went from 4,000 out of pocket total to 4,500, but at least it keeps the cost down for the city. Like I think yours was 6.
That's what I have, Walmart.
Yeah.
Enough.
So Steve and I are like, it's at 600 something and went up to 612. And I don't remember, how old is Eric? 20. I don't know, 22. How old is he?
We told him.
28.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's, I don't remember what his is, it's 5, but it's up to 520. So I mean. So we just need to prove that you're okay with us renewing our, as is, we pay $100 out of our monthly checks. So $50 a paycheck. So your cost is 512 or 420 or whatever it is.
mm-hmm. Can we get on it?
Yeah.
Well, pay it all, I don't care. I don't even want that $100 free.
Yes, do we need to vote on it? I make a motion, we approve the 2.11% rate increase.
Second.
Who seconded?
I second that.
All right. A motion from Christina, second by Naeem, to pay the increase 2.11%. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 4, Christmas kids and cops.
Okay, every year, Brookings County Sheriff, Brookings Police Department, and the SDSU Police Department go together and they collect money to service the community. 3 families from Elkton are chosen to go on a Christmas shopping event. They could provide a meal, food for meals. The city has since I've been here, has been paid for the cost of the meals. Granted, it may not be actually what it goes for, but that's what our intent is. So it's $150 per meal times 3 was $450 is what, it's in their bills, I just need approval to pay it.
You're gonna make a motion?
Second.
We have a motion from John, second by Christina to approve the 3 meals. All in favor?
Alright,
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the bills.
Okay, I passed out a little silver or extra bills that came in today. Early.
Oh. I see the dumpster's full again.
Are we done?
I don't know, I was just gonna ask. Think we should be?
Until the end of winter anyways.
So we'll do a city cleanup.
Yeah.
I mean, it took them about 4 days to fill it this week.
4 days?
It's full, but I mean.
Well, you know what, you don't know, I mean,
Well, I
is
know.
it stuff from basements that are waterlogged? We don't know, I mean, it's not been policed, so
We should be done by now.
I would think so.
Not necessarily.
I've never seen before.
Yeah. The only thing that I've seen, is if we put it in there now, there'll be that much less for the spring cleanup.
Yeah, but we pay more for this.
Yeah, it's $155 every time they come in.
I'd say we're.
Plus what the landfill costs, which I didn't get the landfill cost this time yet.
I don't care, it's up to you guys.
No.
Get it out of here.
We're good.
I think,
It's been there long enough.
Yeah.
How many have they dumped?
Yeah, so it's.
What's that?
How many have they
We
dumped?
dumped, this
7, I
last one
think.
was 5, and then there was an additional 8 on the other 13.
Wow.
That's
We
plenty.
dumped 13,
It's a lot of stuff. I hope people use it wisely.
right?
Right.
Well, pretty soon we have to start plowing around anyway, so.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
it out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And Otter Tail's got a lot of employees, they need that.
Yeah. Push it
Oh,
over
parking lot,
there.
He's kind of a nice guy, that little Will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy.
well, so there's one there, and that needs to be dumped now?
That's the only one left.
And if we get another one, that's another.
$155.
We're not getting.
Plus, I think, we were supposed, I told them that we didn't want it the last time, and they ended up leaving one, and I didn't, because you had said we're done.
No, I said bring another one.
I heard you said we were done, but anyways, they brought it, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
You know, by the end of the, I would say by the end of this month, if that one gets full, just. Cause you can't judge and say, oh, no, you know, they're emptying out their basement.
No, we don't know.
Well, where do you
it's-
draw the line?
If they haven't got it done by now,
I don't think
There's
they're going
other,
to.
there's people
there's
still.
other ways that they can get it to us, the city landfill too, though. I mean, I think we've done enough. That's all.
Well, let me just state for the record, I disagree. I think we should leave it for one more time. That's my thought. There have been people that have had a reoccurrence of the groundwater coming back up. There are several that have had that happen. So I just don't wanna judge and say, well, we've had enough. I just wanna go on the record and say that.
So, do we wanna vote on it?
Well, do we wanna give them one more, that way people get a warning on it?
And this will be the last one.
They'll be gone
Have
by
them
early
dumped
next
in-
week?
By the end of the week and have one more. And then that's it.
And it's gone by.
Will Jessica still print stuff in the paper that you give her?
I don't know.
Well, when you give her like stuff for our meetings, doesn't she print it?
Yeah, if I tell her, I mean, but she's not here, so I can ask her in the morning.
I mean, then we at least give people a warning in case people have been planning, you know. Get it out,
Just get it out there, there's one more and that's it.
and at least give them a warning.
I don't care.
Dumpsters are leaving. Stuff out there. People watch this.
Alright,
There are people that do.
Okay, so are we just having the one?
just bring one more back over and take this one,
Okay.
and then that'll be it.
Paint a sign saying this is the last one, and we'll put it in front of it.
Paint it on the dumpster.
Last one, get it in here, get it in here by Monday next week or she's gone.
Well, when it's full, the next one, it's gone.
It's just
Yeah.
gone.
This one here's only been here since Friday. It's just about full.
No,
It's been longer than that.
No, I think it's been longer.
I thought this was just one day you took one.
I thought this was the 2 weeks.
no, it's the next payment we've spent.
Yeah, they just dumped this one out.
No,
It
they
ain't been
just,
a week.
no, it's been, it was
I
here
think
over
it's
the
been like
weekend.
2.
Yeah.
Been
I
at
think
least
it's been
5
a week and a
days.
half.
Yeah.
I can't prove it.
Well, no, I bet it's
So we
been.
got 7,400 in engineering costs, and then the water fund, we've spent out 37,
All of that.
not including that.
So, get the bills looked over.
So that's an additional,
Jeez, that's a salary.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
get all that.
You get all the diesel from over here, and
It's just, it sucks.
get the diesel from here
We're
for
gonna get
the,
it until next year.
and then where do you get the gas usually?
Gotta be-
I thought maybe you got it off the bulk truck.
No, I don't think they have gas on the wall.
Here? Really?
Do you, oh, speaking of gas, so you go up and fill your tanks out at, Skyview all the time? Does Martin's come out here by any chance, or would they come out here to fill your tanks?
It's only 100 gallons.
Oh, okay.
I just throw the tank in the pickup, so.
What are you gonna do in the winter? Just the same thing? Do we need to get one of them things where you put the gas in and pump it, like on the farm?
He's got a tank.
I have one.
He has a tank in the back of the pickup.
Yeah, who,
Okay.
do you get the red tanks filled up over there at the shop, or the diesels?
Yeah.
From Chevy. Okay,
I'm just curious, the cash flow, is that a normal amount, like 4,000?
4,000.
Is that an addition?
No, that's just a different amount. There was
Okay.
missing an invoice, so it's just.
That's a
the
normal
total.
amount though?
2,000. Yeah,
so this 1864 don't,
that's incorrect. It's the
so
corrected
you cross
amount.
that out.
Yes,
It's on the.
it's just the amount on there.
So 24, 22.
That makes it a little better. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, it's, I had there was an invoice that I was missing then,
Okay.
so it was like an extra $500.
I make a motion to pay bills.
Second. Okay, I'm sending out two because I forgot to send the one, last month.
We have a motion from Christina, second by Naima, pay bills, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
May I interject something that I did forget? that
What?
I just got? We agreed to do the municipal meeting where everybody comes and
The district meeting.
district meeting, yes, meeting, yeah. And that's March 18th. And we have to completely return, the information by December 15th. So we could do it for the next,
He said, well,
and, just to kind of get an approval, I have talked to, Randy at, the Knotty Pine, and he's agreed with the price, so it would be, $15, no more than $25, and that includes a gratuity. That includes a gratuity, and if there's going to be dessert, and that can be included in there, or we can have one of the ladies come and do some baking or what have you.
And that's
And
paid for
that's-
by the municipal league.
Yes, and, it would be approximately 65, 70 people, and it would be here. And we had a chat, could be the FCCLA girls doing it like they did the last time where they were serving. There could be hors d'oeuvres and so on and so forth. So I just want to kind of pass that around so you can take a look at it, so you can be prepared.
And you can do buffet style as well, so you don't have to rely on service as well.
yeah, we did the face style the last time we had it.
And, the fire department, we have to ask them to do the
The
drinks.
liquor,
Yep. One's October, one's November. I forgot to send it around. Just, if anybody's interested in the sheriff's report, there's that.
yes.
Hey, Naima,
Yes.
on your citizen comment, I was thinking, what was their purpose of wanting natural gas, other than natural gas is awesome, 'cause I used to work for a natural gas company, but, is it because they want, like, their stove or something, or?
The conversation was, as I was told by one person, everyone that was talking about it wanted to get natural gas in here because it's cheaper, it's cleaner, it's better.
Yeah, it's
And
awesome.
we never did get it in because of the problem getting everything, I call it plumbed in, I know I'm using the wrong word, but remember those two contracts that we lost, when I was on the council before? And we were-
Businesses wanting to come
Yep.
to town that
Yep.
need natural
natural gas, and we didn't get either one of them. That's when we were with Al Hooten in the economic development. They sent 2 companies out here, big, like Twin City Van, and we didn't have the natural gas. We had everything else but the natural gas.
Yeah.
And we lost two of those companies, and they would have brought a lot into the city. So that's one aspect of it, and they weren't coming from that aspect, because they didn't remember that time. But, it's cheaper, cleaner, it would be easier to do, because we're already digging up.
Yeah, well, that's quite a ways to run a pipeline. But if it was just because if they wanted, like a stovetop, you can get propane. You can just change your orifices around and have like you can buy them at Lowe's.
We've done that.
Okay.
Yeah, but they just said it's cheaper. They had done their due diligence.
Well, natural gas is
research-
cheaper.
Resources,
Yeah,
or
normally.
research.
But it's gonna cost a lot of money to get it here.
Yeah, and whoever's gonna run it here, I don't think it's gonna benefit them much for as minimal natural gas customers that would be in this town.
You have to force everybody.
Yeah, you would have, everybody would have to.
Probably that'd be like a 10-year.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we wanted natural gas, we lost 2.
But, okay, yeah, natural gas, now you gotta call in your plumber, you gotta plumb your whole house for natural gas. I mean, that's a lot more than just getting it here, you gotta plumb your house for it. I mean, there's a lot to it than just getting it here.
You gotta convert your furnace.
Yeah, everything's gotta be converted.
Well, they thought about it, they talked about it, and,
And it is a
they did
good
their
deal.
research,
Oh, yeah,
so.
it's great stuff.
It is a great deal.
Yeah.
And they're paying us taxes, you know, and Basin might be willing to help out a little bit, I don't know. But I think the other thing that might have come up was the fact that we're gonna be rerouting and tearing up out here too, when that road gets,
Yeah.
so I don't think that that's.
Who operates that line? That's 12 miles north.
Northwestern is
Yeah.
Aurora area, so.
Well, the one up
They're
there,
high pressure lines?
the one up there comes in from Astoria area to Basin. It
Right,
comes in from the north, that came in 10, 12 miles.
but who operates that?
I don't know, is that Northern? Northern
I can
Border?
find out, we're
I think that's
tied
Northern Border.
into part of that for our deal,
I
but,
think that's Northern Border. Pipelines, I think.
who?
Ain't that Northern
Northern,
Pipelines out of, they're on the north edge of Brookings.
Oh, Northern.
I-
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I think that's what they have, it's up there.
You guys find on packets from transient vendors that
I can do some checking
Yeah.
on some stuff,
Oh, that'd be cool.
just, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can do some checking.
I mean, I think the only way that would really benefit them even running, say, Twin City converted over natural, if they used a huge volume of gas, like,
Yeah.
But they also get bulk discount for propane.
Yeah.
They get
Oh,
it-
yeah.
They get it pretty cheap.
They buy, I think, 70 cents a
Right,
gallon.
right. And I don't know where that sits
Semi-low.
on CERN for natural gas.
That's the semi-loads coming in, I think, they pay 70 cents.
Right, and sometimes not even that. I've
No,
heard
yeah, a
it
lot of
was-
times not that,
Yeah,
that's right now.
right.
Well, so Greg, you're gonna.
I want that.
check-
Well, I'll find,
check
I can
into
find
that?
out who operates the closest line.
Yeah. In fact, I can probably call my niece up there, and she might know.
Is there,
She can find out, Laura,
Where
she works there.
so we can have that and let people know, they can get that information for the next video, or off of the next video, or
Yeah.
paper, because she should be here next time, I hope.
I can find out probably from her.
Okay, yeah, if you wanna give her a call.
I'll give her a call.
I'm gonna give
Yeah.
her myself.
And you're talking about the things that, you know, they're doing, there's a lot to do to convert. You know what that is, if you could have that there and present that too, that'd be kind of
Well,
fun.
you gotta call your plumber in, it's gotta be plumbed.
Right, because every house is gonna be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no two houses alike, and
Mhm.
that's the issue is, it's not like there's gonna be a set price, it's gonna cost you $1,500 to convert your house, it's gonna be, might be 500 for you, it might be, 1,000 for her, that's, every house is gonna be different.
how would someone, when I get back to them, how would they go about, doing a cost comparison? There was the due diligence and it's cheaper and is
Well,
there
we don't
any way
have
that
the-
they can?
You know, the price.
We don't know the price of
The
natural
natural
gas
gas
is,
is.
and what they're using compared, you know, so.
So would it be something, to talk about next time? Would the whole town wanna buy into it? Do we have to have the whole town buy into it?
Oh, you'd have to have the
make
whole-
it,
Yeah,
to
it
make
would-
it visible?
Yeah, everybody'd have to go into it.
We'd be,
Yeah.
we'd be paying a lot of money.
Feasible.
You would
Yeah.
have to mandate it, because you can't have a propane tank in the Brookings.
Well, that's like when
You
they
have to
brought
be hooked up
Brookings
to
Dual
natural
Rural
gas.
Water here, that was a huge expense. You know, we paid a loan, years into when I started, we were still paying off that loan to bring in that line, so.
Yeah.
The only way to make it profitable or reasonable, not necessarily profitable, would be if there were businesses looking to come to town that required that type of thing, that could give
Well,
some.
Yeah, they want
And
volume.
they're gonna be the ones that are on the high pressure lines, not the
Mhm.
little, dinky residential,
Yeah.
And they have, I mean, if they're looking to expand and we hit all their criteria type of thing, they're gonna be buying into it as well. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna pay the whole thing, but.
Well, if a company was like a serious company willing to come here and wanted to put their business here, they would probably put up quite a bit of money to get the line here, which
That's what
would
I'm
cost
saying.
a lot of money.
They
Was-
held
I
the
don't
line
remember
here and we
that
have
at all.
to come
I
to
don't
town.
remember
Yeah.
that part of it. I know we had two people looking and they were pretty serious for a while and then we didn't get it.
They probably
Well,
thought
and
we
part of,
already had it.
and part of the problem with that is though too, if we get it here in town and then 10 years later, a business that sees that we have it, that line has to be adequate to handle that amount of therms coming through that. Well, yeah, I mean, you either gotta go big and hope for a big business or go small, and, cause if you don't have the supply, you're not gonna satisfy.
Oh, they would throw it out here and throw a couple reg stations, boost it up.
Oh, that's possible?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do we need a motion to go to executive? Yes, we are.
Mhm.
In regards to-
Personnel,
Personnel.
I make a motion to go executive for personnel.
I'll second.
See you, Steve.
Yeah.
There's Dave.
Yeah.
We have a motion from Christine, second by Scott. Go to executive, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.